A classy Tottenham performance, 2 goals, 3 points. The gap closed on Arsenal at the top to just 1 point. Goal number 9 in the Premier League for Harry Kane. 50 games not out for Antonio Conte. And I will say the best performance I have personally seen this season from Tottenham. Assured, confident, controlled. The second half, the last time I checked, and I want to make sure I get this statistic right, they did not allow a shot on goal for the entire second half. Complete, I mean, beyond shutout. That is an annihilation. That is blasphemy under, not blasphemy, baptism under fire for Everton in many, many ways. As I say, the best Spurs performance I've seen this season. They attacked well. They probably should have scored more than 2 goals as well. Pickford made some good saves. A little bit of wastefulness from Spurs earlier on in the match. And the only 2 mistakes did actually lead to 2 very good opportunities for Everton in this game. And they just were not able to capitalize. It was simple and as straightforward as that. They missed their opportunities. The ball went over the bar. And that was it. And Spurs, as you can see with the league table here on my left, you see it on your right-hand side. Tottenham remain in 3rd position, as you can see, on 23 points, level now with Manchester City. A win for Liverpool tomorrow puts them joint on points after 10 games with them, and they are 1 point behind Arsenal that go to Ellen Road. And there's one thing that stood out to me in this game. There's a couple of players I want to speak about. The first one, Harry Kane, again, another goal. Goal number 9 this year. Brilliant play in the build-up to the second goal as well. Harry Kane, I tweeted it. He's pretty good at football, isn't he? He's pretty damn good at football and kind of continues to prove that the naysayers wrong all the time. The people that consistently, I don't know how good he really is, class again today. I also want to shout out Basuma. Basuma he's not had enough game time this year, in my opinion, Basuma. I think that I wanted to see more of him. I understand he's being bled into the squad. Højbjerg, Bentancur have been in brilliant form. But that change, forced change, with Richarlison going off, bringing another midfield player on, for me, was the catalyst to Tottenham going up a gear. They were in control. They were dominant. But from that point, they just looked a sensational team against an Everton side that everybody saw as a banana skin. Everybody saw as a team that could potentially create an upset today. And that didn't happen at all. So Harry Kane, Basuma, 2 stars of the game. Basuma would actually get my man of the match, even though Harry Kane was involved in the goals. I just feel that he was so immense, so strong, so brilliant in that middle area. Of course, defensively pretty good from the team again, but a dominant display. The midfield was where it was at. And looking back at that, I think it's the first time in 6 years that Everton haven't registered a shot on goal in a single half of the game. And I don't even believe they had a single shot on target in the entire match. If you break down, they only had 4 shots in the whole game. None of which were even on target. 1 was blocked, 3 were off target, and absolutely abysmal. It wasn't even abysmal. That's actually disrespectful to Tottenham. It wasn't even abysmal from Everton. It was just absolute quality from Tottenham. Let's take a look at some of your comments here. Some of you just writing Bentancur's name. I don't quite know what you mean, but there we go. Spurs deserved nothing. Was all Everton. Stop lying. Listen, that was one of the most dominant displays you'll see this season. The only thing that sometimes score lines are misleading. You know, when United scored 3 against City, that made it look less of a beating than it was. Today was 2-0. That flatters Everton. This should have been a 3-4, maybe even a 5-0 game, no doubt. Yves Bissouma made the difference against a very defensive Everton. He did, and I think for me, what I would be encouraged about tonight if I was a Tottenham fan, and what encouraged me as a football supporter, is the relentlessness in the second half. The first 10, 15 minutes in the first half, Spurs were on top. They were whipping that ball in well. They were creating chances and opportunities. And then they kind of were a little bit passive for the rest of the first half. That's how it felt to me watching. In the second half, they came out on the front foot. They were forced into that change. I want to say that was in like the 55th minute, somewhere along those lines. A little bit later, actually. Sorry, when was that? Yeah, 52nd minute. And then they just went up another gear. I think that extra midfielder maybe gives them a bit more confidence. And they realized that Everton had very little in the attack. They were not prepared to commit more than 2 or 3 players forward. And they had very little to worry about. And Antonio Conte's boys put the foot on the pedal. They applied the pressure, and they reap the rewards. And as I say, for me, the best performance of Tottenham this season, not in terms of goals. There'll be games that they scored more goals, but overall performance from front to back, top to bottom, game management, substitutions. I thought Spurs were absolutely flawless in that game tonight. Dan here says we should have gone into the game with the 3-5-2 from the jump. Spurs fans seem to really like that formation compared to others. So I don't disagree with you, Dan. I think that that is very much maybe the way forward. Maybe that extra midfielder gives you more of what you need. Maybe you can be more attacking from that with that extra man in the middle. Terry, the Spurs fan. Oh, yeah. Suddenly, I say something nice about Spurs. I'll be a Spurs fan now. By the way, I have shared the link with, I don't even know the guy's name. I know he's a Tottenham fan who keeps calling us out. He's got the link to come and debate me one-on-one tonight. Let's see if he does. But he told me he's going to do an expose video, but there is nothing to expose. He said he wants to come on. He's been shared links to come on. I've already told him I'm not going to make an individual show just for him to come on and slag the terrace off. We're not going to change our schedule. He can come on to one of our shows and call us out. How many other YouTubers would allow someone to come onto their show to slag the show off? He's got that opportunity. Either take the opportunity or put your balls back in your pocket. It's entirely up to you, my old mate. You can tell Terry didn't watch the game. Jammy win. Listen, my friend. It was not a jammy win. 21 attempts to 4. I haven't even checked the chances created, but I bet it's high in that game in comparison. 16 chances created. I think 5 big chances created in that game. A penalty as well. Drop the salt tonight, my friend. Drop the salt. Drop the salt. Calm it down a little bit, Terry. They're going to be calling you a Spurs fan soon. There we go. Terry giving Tottenham too much praise. He wants to be fair. This is just how I am. I can always tell new viewers of the terrace to old viewers of the terrace. It's always funny to see. I want to also say RIP. I did hear the news today that Strip Bear has sadly passed away. Regular contributor to the terrace and helped us out a lot in moderation. So very, very sorry to hear that news about her. I do actually know her real name and everything else. We sent her a shirt once to say thank you. So, yeah, very, very sad news to hear that today. Cal here says, Basuma deserves that shout out much better than Bentancur. Just constant 7 out of 10 since March or something. Fair play to him. Yeah, I mean, I'm always impressed with Bentancur. I think he's good. I believe that. I think you should try that 3 a few more times. Basuma in the middle, Højbjerg, Bentancur either side. Give that go for a few games. See what that can kind of produce. Very, very good in that second half. Very, very good indeed. You've got width from your fullbacks. So give it a go. Give it a go. If that's is that Spurs fan going to bottle it? I don't know. It's up to him if he wants to come on. But there we go. By the way, I've been very respectful to him. I've got no personal issue with him. You're allowed to call out the terrace. We're the only fan channel that allows people that don't like us to come on and express why and have debates. I feel it's just the way we are. That's the way we are. There we go. It's up to him now. He's got the link. 3-5-2 gives Son and Kane more freedom, and also Basuma gives us more of a security in front of the back three. Also, to the Spurs fan, please don't embarrass us and expose. Yeah, I mean, I will say this about Spurs fans. I've had a lot of Spurs fans DM me, comment on it, saying this guy don't rep us and whatever else. And I know the crazy thing is the guy's biggest problem is that we don't have good enough Spurs fans on the channel. Young Danny that phones in comes on the show regularly. So I'm like, why are you talking about him? Patrick and George are brilliant. Alex is great. The likes of Henry Wright and Ricky Sachs have been on the show. We invite them regularly. They just can't always make it. It's a very weird thing, but like he's had his opportunity, and if he doesn't want to take it, that's entirely up to him. I'll stop talking about him now. What's this? Oh, that's a weird comment. Let's have a little look at some of the things you've got to say here about the game. We'll have a separate video coming out about Mason Greenwood, so no need to talk about that on a Spurs show. If anybody wants to phone in, the link has now been shared on this. Kane is overrated. Listen, Harry Kane is not overrated. Your comment there is one of the most egregious I've seen on social media in a long time. Harry Kane is one of the best and most complete footballers in European football. One of the best strikers England has ever produced, maybe the best number 9 England's ever produced. Technical ability for days, can play multiple positions in the front line or roles rather than said positions. Can finish with both feet, can score with his head, can pass, cross, has skill, not bad pace, good athleticism. This is an all-round star player, which is why I want him to have those trophies and those moments in those huge games in huge seasons, because I believe his talent deserves world legendary status, and I have nothing but praise for the type of player that Harry Kane is. Um, to say he's overrated, I think is I don't even think you believe that. I don't even think you personally believe that. Let's have a look at some more of your comments. With Doherty in the team instead of Emerson Royale, Spurs look much better. Even Conte was impressed with Doherty. Listen, of course Doherty's better than Emerson Royale. Trent's better than Emerson Royale at defending. You know, Seamus Coleman. I was watching Seamus Coleman today. He's old. He had bad injuries. He's better than Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale's got a bit of athleticism. That's about it. No real technique on the ball. Can't really defend. Uh, Jed Spence is the guy, though. I really want to see Jed Spence being given some more opportunities. I know that Conte started to praise him in the last week or so. So maybe there's a little bit of a thawing in that relationship, and he's going to start to get a little bit more game time. Um, Someone said Spurs are boring to watch. You're a gooner. You're going to find Spurs winning boring and horrible. Of course you are. Of course you're going to find it boring and horrible. Let's have a little look at some more of your comments. This is a great question. Get some more questions in. How tight do you think the gap between the top 3 come the end of the season will be? Oh, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. If Spurs keep playing like a few weeks ago, I said that I think the top 2, Arsenal and City, in my prediction, about 10 points clear of the rest. However, let me throw a caveat in there to be fair and balanced and unbiased. If Spurs can perform like this on a more regular basis, it won't be that big. Because performances like today from Tottenham are sustainable. They're sustainable. There's been a lot of games where the team had a lot of chances. You can see a lot of attempts on goal. Remember, up until today in the Premier League, Spurs have conceded somewhere in the region of 15 to 16 shots on goal per game. They've conceded 3 to 4 big chances on goal per game on average. So you're in a situation where that isn't sustainable with keeping with the top 1, top 2 teams. Today was. And you're not up against cannon fodder today. Everton have been really good of late. Very hard to break down, very hard to beat. So if Spurs can play more like this, it's going to be very, very close between those top 3 teams. And the moment it is those top 3, the best 3 teams in the league are Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester City. Maybe Chelsea will join that pack. Let's see how they progress over the coming weeks. I don't want to get ahead of myself with them, but that would be my take on that. But brilliant question. More questions, please. Actually, questions are great. Help steer the show in the right direction. And of course, we like the show to be, in some respects, controlled by you. Spurs will finish above Arsenal with what Dan Watson says here, mate, and they could. And you're entitled to that opinion. I don't think they will personally, but they could. They could. They're absolutely capable. They need more performances like today. Arsenal would need to have the biggest drop off ever. But how close is it as well? I mean, we're looking at the table earlier on today. Very, very close indeed. And I think one of the reasons why I feel people have overlooked Tottenham slightly, and I'm certainly talking here from my own side of things, it is the sustainability of performances. How long can they keep winning playing how they were? Games like today will start to change people's minds or start to cement their minds. Some people are still writing Tottenham off for a top 4 place. I think that's crazy. I've said they're a shoo-in for a long time now, and felt they were. I mean, initially I thought that Chelsea were going to start the season like a freight train, and I thought Liverpool were going to be amazing. As soon as we saw that there were problems with Chelsea and problems with Liverpool, well, Spurs are going to jump straight into one of those openings because they always said they're a very good team. But yes, great question and great point being raised there. Let's have a look. Sunday league teams are more entertaining than Tottenham. Yeah, I thought they were good today. Spurs Talk Show here says we looked at a completely different team once Richie came off and we went 3-5-2. I mean, it's going to be an interesting transition to see what actually happens this year, because if the 3-5-2 is what really works, what happens with Kulusevski? What happens with Richarlison in the vast majority of important games? Because that means that yes, they impact players at the bench. There's going to be a lot of rotation this season. But this is what I love in football. And no one knows the answer to that, by the way. No one has an answer about what happens. It's just, I don't know. If I'm a Spurs fan, it's great off the bench. Imagine you need them to come on and score more goals. That gives you great strength in depth. I don't think you'll play 5-3-2 in every game. But I think definitely when you're against home against teams that are only going to counterattack you, maybe that's where this formation is used on a more regular basis. Maybe when you know you're going to be outpossessed, so away at Chelsea, away at Anfield, away at City, as examples, maybe away to a few other clubs in the Prem. Maybe then that's when you play with the Kulusevski, Son, Kane, or Richarlison, because you want to explode onto the counter. When you're at home and you've got to be the aggressor, maybe this is what's going to work for you. So yeah, definitely food for thought for Antonio Conte, but a brilliant problem to have nevertheless. First on the show with me today to have this, I'm going to get a few Spurs fans out now to give us their thoughts on that performance. My brother's here. Jerome's with us. What you saying, mate?
Hey, how's it going, Terry?
I'm very, very well. What was your take on the game, the result and performance?
Well, the game was good. It was a good game. First half, look, Everton were just really low block. So I guess the change of formation from 3-4-3 to 3-5-2 made it better. And the introduction of Yves Bissouma was so much better for us. The game completely changed when he came on the pitch. That was so much better when he came in. And pretty much what I'm excited about is, look, we've got players. We've got depth. That's what making me more confident, a little bit more confident. I wouldn't say our style of play is getting any better, but the depth we've got is pretty okay. Because look, with the introduction of Bissouma, the game changed completely. And with Richarlison, everybody can go and say, "Oh, he's not good enough. He's doing this." But I'm satisfied with Richie. He's doing a job. He's doing a great job for us. And pretty much, I would say, even if we change to 3-5-2, he could always swap with Kane, give Kane a rest, and put Richarlison at the front, and that would change the game as well. So that's the good thing we've got so far. We've got depth, so we've got players to come in and can change the game at any time. So that's what I'm very excited about. But against Everton, anyway, it was an expected win. I was expecting us to win against Everton, but we'll see again, like in the next coming few weeks, how we go, especially against Manchester United. We'll see how we perform.
I mean, it sets you up, well for that game. Confidence going into it. You'll want to win, but winning today gives you a little bit of a comfort blanket going away to Old Trafford. But we'll see what happens. Jerome, always a pleasure to speak, and I'm sure we'll chat after the game.
Definitely.
Well, top man, thank you. Next on the show, Abdul's with us now, big Spurs fan. What you saying, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah. So, today's performance was definitely great. The way, like, the great thing about this performance today is Tottenham is kind of showing everybody that we can break down low blocks teams too. There's a lot of fans out there that thinks that when Spurs go up against a team that's sitting back and parking the bus, Tottenham will have no chance. Wouldn't know how to break them down because we don't have like a typical number 10. We don't have that creative midfielder. But again, like we've shown that we can beat teams that's going to attack us. We can counter them, and we can score 3, 4, 5 goals against them. We've shown today that we can create chances against low blocks, and we can score goals against them. We're definitely starting to show our our variety of ways that we can win matches.
Yeah.
And you have players like Basuma that's coming in. It's good to see him now because you can see it's just a lack of confidence that he's having. You can see that he has the skills, he has the talent. Perisic is doing great. Like you see how great Perisic is on the left. He's creating loads of chances. Doherty he did play good, I'll say, from like the 70th minute onwards. I'll say definitely when Everton started to attack us, he started to have more space. And like Harry Kane is just showing that like he can beat you in so many different ways. How he can drop in deep, he can play as a typical number 9. I've always said like easily like top 5 players in the Prem. Like he's truly an elite player. He can dribble past players even though his speed is not that much. Heung-min Son is starting to get into form now, even though he didn't score today. He's always lively on the attack. Even though he's not scoring, teams are always fearful of his runs. You can see that they have a lot of emphasis in defending him, and that's what I'm saying. Like for Tottenham right now, we have 23 points in like the first 10 games, I'm pretty sure, or something like that, which is I just seen like our best start in like the last like 25 years. Like we're doing extremely well. And I know that there's a lot of Spurs fans that are maybe like a little bit adamant or they're not really that excited, even though our results has been sensational because of how well Arsenal's playing. Arsenal's doing a great job. Don't get me wrong, they are very good, but like we've been first place too under Jose Mourinho 15 games into the season. And you've seen how that season turned out. We ended up getting like 6 or 7. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Arsenal, but I'm just saying, like all the Spurs fans out there, I understand that you want to play a great, expansive football, but we're just getting the wins, man, and we're creating chances and we're scoring goals too.
Hey,
And
you're absolutely right about that. And I think that this is the thing for me. When I did my final predictions for the season after the window closed and we saw the teams play, I put you guys into, I think, fourth place. I thought Liverpool would have turned things around by now and started playing a little bit better. They haven't. You're now moving into that realm of going into third place by the end of the season and staying there. But if you get more performances like tonight, where I think you're far more dominant and you stop allowing teams to attack. And for me, this is the way I look at sustainability. It's not about the entertainment for me. People always, oh, you're not entertaining. That's not sustainable. That's bullshit because Chelsea won back-to-back Premier League titles playing relatively boring football. The sustainability comes from how often are your opponents creating chances against you. And if you're conceding 15 attempts on goal per game and 3 or 4 of them are big opportunities, you're never going to be in a title race. You can't. No team in the history of the Premier League concedes chances like that and challenges for a title. It's just impossible. Today was exemplary because you attacked well. There was great strength in the middle, and you did not let Everton hurt you at all. And we know Everton have been dangerous, a lot more dangerous this year than they were last year. So an excellent performance. This is the kind of thing that will breed that sustainability.
last question: do you still think Tottenham can't advance to the knockout stages in the Champions League? I've seen that you think that we're gonna get. Let me say something, Terry. Let me tell you something.
Go on.
You know that we're perfect at home, right? And you think we're gonna lose to Sporting at home. You do know that like
No,
we haven't lost in home in like the last like 15 games.
So I think what you've got to understand, when I'm bantering Spurs, I think I've always said in real terms, you'll get out of that group. I just like teasing the fact I'm so weirded out by Conte and the fact that he only has like a 32% win ratio in all Champions League games he's ever played in. For a world-class manager, I find it weird how in the Champions League he has this little hoodoo against him. So it's a little bit of fun. You're definitely getting out of that group, especially after the win. You're definitely getting out 100%.
Just last point, then I'll leave. Like I think this is a point to all the Spurs fans out there. Like, don't get like you have all these rival fans that they don't make no mistake about it. They want Antonio gone from Tottenham. So they're always going to spin all this negativity towards Antonio Conte. He's playing trash football, and you guys are just a couple losses away from Antonio Conte losing his head, and he's not going to make or he's not going to resign this and that. All you rival fans, you can believe that, but all the Spurs fans, you have to truly understand that these rival fans just want Antonio gone. So you can't really take their comments too seriously when it comes to Antonio Conte, because a lot of that is based upon emotion and just based upon what they truly want rather than, I guess, what's practical.
Yeah, of course.
So,
And
yeah.
look, you're always going to get that. And equally, what there also is in football at times, and it has to remain, is sometimes it is just banter. And I do get a little bit annoyed at football fans in recent times who just sometimes can't take the banter. It's like, yeah, of course, I'm not always going to be 100% professional and balanced at all times. Sometimes I'm going to throw a bit of banter in. Sometimes I'm going to have a bit of fun. Sometimes I'm going to laugh at something. Because if there's no laughter and fun in football, what are we doing here? Abdul, great call as ever, my friend, and we'll chat to you again.
Last thing,
Go on,
Arsenal
bro.
fans, until you guys finish the season ahead of us, it's been like what 6 or 7 years or whatever. You have to show them you can finish the season ahead of Spurs, because we've been first place 15 games into the season with Jose Mourinho. You have to show us you can end this season above us until you talk down on us. That's all I'm gonna say. Show me first. Show me that you're gonna be ahead. Because right now you guys are playing amazing, but guess what? You guys are only ahead of us by 1 point. Granted, you guys beat Leeds tomorrow, which I think you will. But you're only going to be ahead of us by 1 point, and you still got to come to our stadium, which you haven't beat us in like 10 years. So keep that same energy, all you Arsenal fans. You need to show us you can land ahead of us. So I don't care about all this. We're ahead of you guys by Christmas. Nah, you get no props for that. Show us at the end of the year.
I do hear you, Abs. Top man for coming on, having your say. Thank you very much in Indeed. Listen, a few people saying, Terry, I swear you said Tottenham came in 5th. You need to watch more of the Football Terrace content. Here are my final season predictions. This was at the end of the transfer window when the Football Terrace always does its final predictions. As you can see there, I had Tottenham in 4th place by the end of the season. That was my prediction. So people keep saying I said 5th. That was before the window shut and before we'd seen anybody play. And as we state many, many times, it's likely to change. And the only thing that's different is I thought Chelsea were going to start the season much better than they were. I didn't predict that Liverpool would be as bad as they are. And that's what it is. And we all do that. And I'm telling you now, there isn't one of you watching whose thoughts on the top 4 hasn't changed in his opening 10 games. If you're all sitting there now again, my predictions are the same as they were in August. I'm going to say it bluntly, you're lying. You're lying. You couldn't put your hand on a Bible or any holy book and swear it. We've all changed our minds. I'm very strong. I'm a strong enough man to go, I've changed my mind. That's what that comes down to. Another few comments here I want to go to is all people talked about last week was a soft penalty. Why no outcry on the soft penalty today? And it was a super chat saying thoughts on Kane's dive to win the penalty. Now, I don't know who you all support. I can't even tell by your profile pictures. But this is where I believe I earn my stripes as a content creator. I believe that Jesus' penalty last week was a penalty. He got kicked on the ankle. He went down. It was a foul. Harry Kane today gets a foot to the ball. Pickford misses the ball. And then, yes, I mean, I don't know if you all saw it. The contact between Pickford's head and the defender's leg was huge to a point where Pickford's head, the top of his head hit his shoulder. That's how big it was. A full 90-degree turn of his head. Full contact. It's a foul. It's a penalty. It's probably even more of a penalty than Gabriel Jesus's was, and that was a penalty as well. So I'm going to remain consistent that I'm not calling it out because I wasn't calling the penalty last week out. I said it was a pen. So consistency from me on that. So if you're an Arsenal fan and you said the penalty for Gabriel Jesus was a penalty, there's no reason for you to bring up today's penalty because you'll think today's was a penalty as well because there was just as much contact, if not more, in this scenario. So yes, 100% a penalty. Kane didn't dive. It was a foul from the keeper. Even saw the keeper at the end say sorry after the goal. Said sorry to all his teammates. Why is he saying sorry for if it's not a pen? Come on now, drop the bias. Cooley. And by the way, when I'm on, this is what's crazy. Like there'll be some Arsenal fans go, "Oh, I'm not going to follow and watch anymore because he's not being biased about Tottenham." That's the whole point. Every day I lose followers and subscribers for not saying what people want me to say. I've had Man United fans message me recently. If you keep slagging the Glazers off, we're not going to support the Terrace anymore. If you keep saying Bruno's good, you like Bruno, we're not going to follow you anymore. If you say Harry Kane's good, we're going to not follow you anymore. If you say that Haaland's brilliant, we're not going to follow you anymore. And then I'm not going to start lying to attract followers. I'm going to tell you what I think and feel. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. Thank you to the 4.3 million people that tuned in the last 30 days, though. Oi, oi! Cooley can play right wing back or as an 8, Conte has mentioned, which is good. Great show, by the way, Terry. Best start to the season for us in the Premier League era. Højbjerg and Basuma were immense. Now, I didn't know that, and to you, the previous caller said it, and you just said it as well. That's sensational from Tottenham, and which is why I've said for many weeks now, 100% making Champions League football again next year. There's no doubt about it at all. And who knows what else is going to happen this season? If Spurs put 3 or 4 more performances together like this in the next 4 to 5 games, I'm hoping they don't do it on Wednesday at Old Trafford. I hope. Then people will start to talk about Tottenham differently. As I've said, sustainability isn't about entertainment. It's about how hard you are to break down and beat. That level of Tottenham's performance today was immense. And more of this, and people will really start to talk about Tottenham as title challengers, no doubt. We're going to have young Daniel coming on the show now. Welcome back to the Terrace, my friend. What do you want to say?
Not last week, but 2 days ago when I came on and I was talking about Harry Kane and his build-up play has been poor and his passing has been poor. That's why I said that, because these performances is what he can do. And this is what I know that he can do. This is Harry Kane at his finest. And that's what I expect from Harry Kane. When you ask if he's Messi or Ronaldo, no, he's not. But the thing is, the reason why I believe this is because I've seen it millions and millions and millions of times from him. That was a Harry Kane performance. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant from him. By the way, Terry, I don't know why you have Arsenal in second place. We're literally in I mean, I know it's your prediction and all, but I definitely believe that we're going to finish ahead of Arsenal. And we're going to smash you this week.
Listen, you might very well beat us, and you definitely have the ability to smash us. It's interesting. Like, how do you have? I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna get it up now, right? I'm gonna open up the file where I create the. I'm gonna try and find it now very, very quickly where we create the Premier League predictions, and I'm gonna do yours for you, Dan, because you're a member, regular caller, and super chatter of the Terrace. We always like to pay homage to people like yourself, and we'll do it, right? But who do you have coming? First of all, in sixth place, who's coming sixth for you?
Sixth. I had my Premier League prediction. Do you want the one that I had during the transfer window before the season
No,
started?
do it now. Do it now, because that's what you think now, rather than what you used to think. Because I'm sure it may have changed. Yeah. So I'm just looking for the here it is. I'm looking for the file where I create these so that I can actually make yours for you. So who have you got coming in sixth place, Dan?
Let me. Maybe Chelsea. No, not Chelsea. Man United. No, actually, that's tough. Man. Maybe West Ham. I'll go West Ham in sixth.
West Ham sixth. I'm already not liking yours, but okay. Who's in fifth?
I'd say Liverpool.
Liverpool fifth. Wow. I mean, mine's going somewhere like that. Fourth place.
Chelsea.
You haven't even got Man United in the top six. Son of a gun. Third place. I'm assuming you're going Arsenal then.
Yeah, I'm going Arsenal, and then I'm going to go Tottenham in second and City in first. But my prediction, I think that City will go so far up top that I don't think it's going to be a title race for us. But I think we will finish ahead of Arsenal comfortably. But City are just going to walk the league this year.
That'll be an interesting one. Look, I've done it now. I'm going to put it up on the screen for everybody. Everybody's heard it, but I want to create the graphics, so then we've got it saved. I just saved it now to the system. Because obviously, if you're wrong, I'm going to cook you later on this year. And the same as everybody else will. But listen, I think it's a good prediction that you put in. Like, I don't think anything that you've said is outlandish. Man United still may not make Man United have got a long way to go. I still think Man United have got a long way to go to like legitimately convince people that they can make it into the top, the top six, let alone the top four. There's no doubt.
I don't even think your top four is that wrong. The only problem is because you predicted that before the season started. So I don't think anybody predicted this thing that's going on with Liverpool. I don't think anybody predicted that. So I had Liverpool in my top four when I predicted it as well.
So that's yours. So that's yours.
That's
I'll make sure I got that right. Okay.
That's mine. The only problem that yours has is that Tottenham are below Arsenal. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one.
I just think that they've been brilliant. But again, this is the thing about being fluid with your opinions. The way you play today, if you've been playing like that all season, my view on I've already said top four. I already said excellent team.
Yeah.
But the way you play today, not conceding chances is so important. And that's what's key. Ironically, City typically concede more opportunities than you did today. And today, so you won't maintain I reckon you'll probably have no more than one more game this season in the Prem where you don't concede a shot on goal in the second half. Like, that's a madness, right?
Yeah.
Literally a madness. But yeah, look, go on.
I'm just going to say one of the main reasons why I think that this season is going under the radar. Like, if you actually look at the teams we played. So let me go through some of them. Southampton, that's a team that we lost to last season at home. Chelsea, we lost that game. We drew it. Wolves at home. We lost that one last season. West Ham away. We lost that one and we drew. Leicester we beat. Arsenal is the only loss we've had in the Prem, and that game we lost last season. So like most of the games that we've won were games that we lost last season. Another thing is that this is our best Premier League start to the season in ages, and the only reason that this is our best is because the other one that was behind. This is our best in our history in the Premier League. But the other one that was behind it, that was at the time where when you win, you get 2 points. So that's how long ago it's been since we've had a start to a Premier League season like this one. It's been impressive. I think that Spurs fans that are saying Conte out, you need to calm down. There's actually some Spurs fans out there that prefer playing good football than winning trophies. I still don't understand that. For me, I would give anything to see a trophy. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't understand the whole we're playing defensive football. I need to see attacking football. I don't care about trophies. I really don't understand that. For a club that like the state that we are with trophies, I definitely think that should be the top priority for Spurs fans.
There we go. Dan, always a pleasure to speak to you, young man, and we'll chat again soon.
Peace.
Top
Thanks for
man,
having me.
thank you very much indeed. Big stuff. I like that. Someone that comes on actually says something. That's what it's all about. United struggled against Everton last week. We did, and that's why Spurs are predicted, in my opinion, to finish above us by at least 2 positions. It's why most people say they're better than us. Why most people say they're finishing in front of us. They're a better team. So, from my point of view, it's how it should go in relation to that. Let's have a little look at some more of your comments here today. Spurs are not finishing second, is what's been said here. Arsenal were just better, is what Luke says. Ten Hag's football is garbage. Said, guys, that's a random one for today. Cool. Still, is that the guy the Liverpool fan, Spurs fan that called me out? Look, he's got the link. It's on him. He will never do it though. I don't know what his agenda is. Everything he said about us is wrong, but he's got the link. We don't shy away from debating anyone. I debate any single person about football. Anyone got something to say about me, we'll do a show. No one ever does though. They always bottle it. Always bottle it. But there we go. There we go. Listen, everyone that has tuned into the show today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back tomorrow with more content in the morning. And then, of course, match reactions to Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United. There'll be one big show for that after their games tomorrow. And then the big one, Liverpool versus Manchester City. Smash the like button before you leave, by the way, and make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.